Regeneration Studio, first and foremost, is an idea about coming together in community after not being able to do that for a while. And I think what makes it really special is that it's a space for connecting, catching up, how are you doing, what have you been up to, and then also relax together and experiment and get back to some of the roots of playmaking. Really thinking about what are the stories we feel like we really need to tell now, and how are we going to do that?
You know, I think they're friends.
Just friends? Oh my God, open your eyes.
We're trying to invite the audience to be a bit of an active participant in exploring these plays. I think this very intentionally fosters the community element alongside the actual theater making. One of the things that I was thinking early on is how can we make this like a community space and also a place where like a bunch of cool artists can come together and make these plays that are already so great, like even better.
Being able to do something like Regeneration Studio where the focus is mostly on queer work and queer plays is really allowing me to experiment with the type of stories that I want to tell.
Content advisory. When I get my hands on content advisory, content advisory, content advisory.
Whoa, don't be surprised. Well, they don't talk like that when we're playing together.
We're sort of experimenting and creating the new approaches on how we're going to make theater as a community. It's really tricky for me as a playwright who's queer, Black, likes sci-fi. I do a lot of stuff that if you put it all together, it's very rare. And to have a place to develop that work with my full authentic voice is always a wonderfully refreshing opportunity.
Something that's I've learned is really important to me is the relationship of performers and audience like in the room together. Many voices in the room has always been something that as a director I try to like have my actors be like a really active participant in the play that we're making together. And this is a way to have the audience do the same thing.
I really hope people are reminded of the potential of gathering together for live performance, in particular around stories that are queer and of color.
I think engaging with the audiences in this way really allows me to see how people are showing up and showing out, and they really do want to come out and see theater and see queer theater and see new work and new plays. If they're just casual theater enjoyers or if they're, you know, serious theater makers, it's a space for everybody to be able to sit down and connect with each other over new work.
Having a focus on queer theater and specifically intergenerational opportunities is a really, really exciting sort of framework to have work developed in because of, you know, what's happened with the pandemic. Not repeating the systems that we had before that weren't working for everybody is also really, really exciting.
You know, if you didn't have so many extracurriculars, you could get a job and get yourself a suit.
All those extracurriculars are what got me into college.
I definitely think that trying to reach the younger generation is something that I want to do. I think it's really important for people to be able to recognize that there are spaces where they're welcome.
At About Face, and especially with the series, we're trying to let queer theater makers make the work they want to make on their own terms.
My hopes for the future of queer theater are that it'll always evolve and always change, and as long as there are spaces where folks are able to be themselves completely and genuinely and authentically, then it'll only go uphill from here.
Quinn looks over to Raina, who is in the middle of a dance circle, probably doing the Cotton Eye Joe or something equally dorky, outdated, and endearing.
In order for it to continue to be relevant, it has to continue to speak to the generations that are discovering their queerness or embracing their queerness. I'm curious on how we will define and redefine queer theater.
I never have a good answer for what is the future of queer theater, but it's something I think about all the time. There's something about queer theater that wants to be out front and wants to also consistently sort of challenge the status quo. It requires like a lot of listening and tuning in and being able to hear a lot of different influences to be able to synthesize and forge the new thing. So I hope is that the future of queer theater is about, you know, justice and health and caring for community and modeling the kind of storytelling and the ways that we're making plays enhances our lives in and outside of the theater and like inspires us.